So this is Sukhasana, or easy seated posture, and I'm just going to go through page 61 in my book, The Mud and the Lotus, a guide and workbook for students of yoga. So I'm going to be going through each posture in the book along with each chapter, and so we're just going to work on one at a time here because I discovered quickly that it takes forever to upload these videos if they get longer than 20 minutes. So I have the book here so I don't forget to tell you anything. If you're looking with me in the workbook, you can write these things down, and I recommend doing that because research shows that that helps to solidify the information in your brain. So first of all, we start with the Sanskrit name of easy seated posture, which is Sukhasana. Secondly, we know that this is a seated pose. The benefits of this posture are, one, it's very grounding to the mind and to the body. It helps to open and help with flexibility in the hip structure and the legs, and even somewhat in the back. It is a very balancing for the whole entire body. It's very grounding. It helps bring balance. It's one of those poses that just connects the mind and the body together. It also assists with your digestion. The chakras that are connected with this posture, because it is a very grounding posture, first of all, are all 7. So from the root to the top, and it's also 1 and 2, which makes sense. The root, 1st and 2nd, and then 6 here. So as you sit on your bottom, you want to just cross one ankle in front of the other. I am sitting on a cushion, but you could use a bolster or a blanket, or you could just sit on the floor. What I would recommend is when you're instructing this posture is just have the students sit comfortably with their legs crossed, one ankle in front of the other. But many people cannot sit comfortably like this, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. You want to have them roll their shoulders away from their ears. Their palms could be in their lap, cupped down or up, whatever they choose. And they want to find an internal lift through the crown of the head. Breathing in, lift. As you exhale, shoulders go away from the ears. So it's a nice straight spine. The spine isn't ever actually straight, but the torso is lined up over the hips and the head over the torso. The lines of energy, what that simply means is the lines of energy, it's the physics of the posture, the push and the pull. And there's always some kind of push and pull going on. I say always, most of the time. So here we're going down through the seat and up through the crown of the head. That is the physics of the posture. So let's talk about modifications for this. Now, I'm not reading through this book. I wrote the book, so a lot of it's in my head, but I would suggest reading it out loud, especially reading the verbal cues out loud when you're practicing and teaching. And on the modifications, what I would recommend is you give the option of the bolster, or you give the option for something to sit on, a blanket. Also, if people have a lot of trouble in their low back, having 2 blocks under the knees can be helpful as well. And just taking the feet out in front of you, or one leg in and one leg out also works. It doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes we overthink it in this alignment crazy culture. It's more about what is comfortable in that person's body. Now, let's talk about assisting or adjustments. I can't show those here because it's simply me. In this day and age, the difference of when I wrote this book is that we're not doing, I'm going to put this under my knee because my knee is sore. We're not doing as many hands-on adjustments anymore or assisting. And so back in my day, it was very hands-on when I started teaching. And so what I would normally do is I would just go behind if I had asked permission to touch, or that I knew the student expected touch, and I might just lightly touch their shoulders if they were here, or I might just lightly touch the back of the head or here. That's pretty rare these days because we're pretty sensitive to touch, which I have mixed feelings about that. I myself have suffered a lot of trauma, and I prefer a teacher who knows how to touch properly, and that's a whole different ballgame. So if you are not comfortable with touch, just don't do it. Just guide them verbally. Roll your shoulders away from your ears, find an internal lift through the crown of your head, and find your breath. And don't worry so much on perfect alignment. If they're getting it for the most part and they seem relaxed, them being relaxed is more important, as long as they're not hurting their body, because yoga is not supposed to be stressful. All right, let's go into some variations. I feel like I've given that with the modifications, but let's see. I just don't want to forget anything. Props are options. Sit with the legs out. This can also be done on the floor, in a chair. It's just feet flat, sit up tall. That's actually considered to be Tadasana in the chair, but you would just skip Sukhasana and have them sit in the chair with lifting up through the head. All right, everyone, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, please ask below.